Good evening, glad you could join us here on News Tonight. My name is Musa Salah and I trust you're doing well this 27th day of May 2021, a day that has seen so much happen, including the National Prayer Breakfast that brought together several leaders, including President Uhuru Kenyatta and his deputy William Ruto, who have not seen each other face to face at least for the past 3 months. We have that and many more, but first, the top stories making headlines tonight. Tonight, Madaraka Day celebration set to be held in Kisumu and a strict adherence to COVID-19 containment protocols in an invite-only event. Kisumu has recorded 5 variants of the COVID-19 virus. Also tonight, the second round of AstraZeneca vaccine to be rolled out tomorrow, with the Ministry of Health assuring of 172,000 doses. Plus, the 18th National Prayer Day brings President Uhuru Kenyatta and his deputy William Ruto together, with the war against COVID-19 and the BBI process featuring prominently. And 2 police officers found guilty of killing Janet Waiyaki at City Park in 2018, sentenced to 7 years in jail. Welcome to the broadcast. Anne Wairimu is our sign language interpreter. TV47 News Tonight begins right now. The Madaraka Day celebrations in Kisumu County will be held under strict adherence to COVID-19 guidelines, with only 3,000 invited guests attending the celebrations. This is after the host county, Kisumu, recorded a total of 5 COVID-19 variants as of the 25th of May, including 1 sample that had both the Indian and UK strain combined. Zaina Mohammed with the details.
After being on the limelight the past few weeks for recording a surge in COVID-19 cases, Kisumu County is yet again on the spotlight, this time for recording over 5 variants of concerns in the past 1 month, including one particular unique case that entails both the Indian and the UK strain in 1 sample.
Recent sequencing of 39 SARS-CoV-2 RT-PCR positive samples from Kisumu sub-counties. Out of the 39 samples, 28 samples aligned with the Indian variant B1617.1. 6 samples aligned with the UK variant B.1.1.7. And 1 sample aligned with the B1612 first identified in India, while 1 sample with both the UK and the Indian variant is undergoing further sequencing. This last case is a novel finding with significant public health implications.
This, the ministry says, makes the county a matter of public health concern, the lakeside city being just days away from hosting the Madaraka Day celebrations on the 1st of June. The prevailing situation leading to a number of changes, Madaraka Day celebrations now being an invite-only event with only 3,000 invited guests against the stadium capacity of 30,000 persons.
The capacity of Jomo Kenyatta International Stadium is 30,000. We have invited 3,000. That means 10% of the stadium. These people are coming with cards. Their seats are designated with proper social distancing.
According to Area Governor Anyang' Nyong'o, residents are advised to follow the celebrations from home, as any plans of televising the event live in different parts of the city are cancelled in order to contain the virus from spreading further.
We had intended to have screens for public view of the event at the Jomo Kenyatta International Stadium, but those views and those venues are now decommissioned. In other words, there will be no gathering at Kirembe grounds or Moi Stadium or the Molen Field in Nyamasaria. We ask everybody to stay at home and watch the event on their television or listen to the radio.
The highly lethal and contagious Indian strain has been confirmed in Kisumu, Kilifi and Mombasa counties in people with no known history of travel, meaning the strain is not only here but has spread to community level transmission, a serious threat to a country looking at a looming fourth COVID-19 wave. Zainab Mohammed, T47.
Well, thank you, Zainab Mohammed, for that report. Still on matters COVID-19, the second phase of the COVID-19 vaccine administration program is set to begin tomorrow as the country continues its fight against the pandemic. The first administration of the vaccine ended today, and the remaining batches will be used alongside a shipment of vaccines expected to arrive tomorrow from South Sudan. Margaret Wanjiru reports.
More than 2 months after the start of the COVID-19 vaccination program on the 5th of March, the second phase of the jab is set to begin Friday, while the first phase ends today. After receiving some 1.2 million doses of the AstraZeneca vaccine, the country has so far inoculated 963,241 people. The remaining doses, along with the consignment of 72,000 AstraZeneca vaccine doses expected to arrive from South Sudan, will be used in the second vaccination phase.
Initially, yes, we reported we would receive from DRC, but COVAX came and said any sharing of doses must be done through the COVAX mechanism. A number of countries in Africa, including Kenya and DRC, had started direct arrangements. So the sharing is done through COVAX, and our share is from South Sudan.
Health workers who were given the first priority when the vaccination program started will be the first to receive the second jab tomorrow.
People who are due have got an SMS on their chanjo system. The chanjo system is sending the reminder 48 hours to when you are due.
According to the World Health Organization and the experts, at 12 weeks is when you are best placed and the antibodies are built best at that time. So doing it earlier is not an advantage to you.
Those who did not get the first dose were also advised to be patient and wait for the rollout of new vaccines in the country. Margaret Wanjiru, TV47.
Well done, Margaret Wanjiru. Now, President Uhuru Kenyatta and his deputy William Ruto led the nation on Thursday in marking the annual National Prayer Breakfast, which was held at the Parliament grounds. The event, pegged on the theme "A Hopeful Future," lasted for more than 4 hours and was conducted with conformity to COVID-19 guidelines. This as the year-long coronavirus pandemic and political tensions in the country made up a huge chunk of issues highlighted in the event. Here is TV47's David Modoka with the detail.
After a year-long hiatus owing to disruptions caused by the coronavirus outbreak, the National Prayer Breakfast was held on Thursday at the Parliament grounds as top government officials led the nation in marking the annual event. Among them were President Uhuru Kenyatta and his deputy William Ruto, who in a rare face-to-face meeting since the start of the year oversaw the country mark its 18th National Prayer Breakfast, which is traditionally held on the last Thursday of May. It was the first time, however, the event was being held since the coronavirus disease struck, with the brutal impact of the pandemic on the country's economy and health sector a major highlight in the televised event.
Mr. President, we do not envy the balancing act you've had to do between lives and livelihoods in the management of this disease, and we commend you for what you've done. However, we note that in fact the need to have this balancing act is largely a product of poverty.
So far, millions of Kenyans have reportedly lost their jobs, with thousands more falling victim to the coronavirus disease. Among those who lost the COVID-19 battle was the Prayer Breakfast's co-chair Paul Koinange, with the attendees of Thursday's event observing a 1-minute silence in honor of the late Kiambaa lawmaker.
Let me speak life to you.
Pegged on the theme, "A Hopeful Future," the event, however, quickly turned into a platform for COVID-19 triumph narrations, with Busia Senator Amos Wako having had a brush with death, revealing that the COVID-19 enemy is indeed beatable.
Your chances of survival and successfully beating COVID-19 are much higher in early detection. If you delay, it becomes very dangerous.
Another highlight of the prayer event will be the rise in political tensions in the country, brought about by the BBI debacle at the High Court, the rift between the once dynamic duo of President Kenyatta and Deputy President William Ruto, as well as a spike in social ills perceived to be perpetrated in public offices.
Integrity is answering affirmatively the question, did I do my best? Because there is never a good reason for not doing your best.
But the president and his deputy insisted that the ship has steadied, while terming the event as a breath of fresh air in the arduous path to recovery.
Prayers that have been said today are all prayers that are geared to giving us our hope back.
In whatever plan, in whatever agenda, in whatever mission, have God in the equation.
Thursday's event was President Kenyatta's penultimate prayer breakfast as the head of state, with less than 14 months to his retirement. Coming in the backdrop of an economic and political meltdown occasioned by the COVID-19 pandemic, the 18th edition of the National Prayer Breakfast is set to be a fresh start for a country in need of one. David Mudhoka, TV47 at Parliament Grounds, Nairobi.
Now, still on the same, President Uhuru Kenyatta and his deputy William Ruto have for the first time shared a podium after months of avoiding each other. The duo has met twice this year, the BBI and the rest to State House in 2022 being just some of the issues drifting them apart. However, today's National Prayer Breakfast brought the two together, and as expected, the two read from different scripts. DP Ruto, who is opposed to the BBI constitutional amendment process, has nonetheless invited President Kenyatta and ODM leader Raila Odinga to reconsider the push for constitutional amendment, claiming the COVID-19 pandemic that has seemingly stopped reggae could be a sign for them to opt for dialogue.
Everything is in order. There goes President Uhuru Kenyatta.
Following months of avoiding each other, President Uhuru Kenyatta and his deputy William Ruto on Thursday shared a table during the National Prayer Breakfast in Parliament.
There goes President Uhuru Kenyatta, received by the leadership.
This year, Kenyatta and Ruto have met face-to-face only twice, during the burial of former Cabinet Minister Simeon Nyachae on the 15th of February in Kisii County, and on the 25th of the same month during a cabinet meeting at State House in Nairobi. President Kenyatta and his deputy have been seen to no longer read from the same script when it comes to matters running the government. The two falling out over the 2022 succession politics and the Building Bridges Initiative BBI, which seeks to expand the executive for inclusion through amending the constitution. Kenyatta, who has edged Ruto out of the government in what has been perceived to be clipping Ruto's influence in the country, has chosen to concentrate on legacy projects and the BBI-driven constitutional amendment. Ruto, who is on the other hand opposed to the push to amend the constitution in the wake of an economic meltdown caused by the effects of COVID-19, has been crafting his 2022 game plan.
So much happened, but as things stand today, the Tanga tours are not there, and the reggae has also stopped. In our case, and that askari says, semeni kimeumana, we would actually have said in the affirmative, because things really became bad.
But it was a moment of truth at the National Prayer Breakfast, with DP Ruto inviting his boss and handshake core principal ODM leader Raila Odinga to reconsider their quest for constitutional amendment.
I think we need to listen to what that bishop was telling us. We need to do something together. In that same meeting, the former Prime Minister also said something that was profound. In fact, in a very uncharacteristic manner, he gave us a verse. And he told us about Isaiah 1:18 that says, "Come, let us reason together." maybe again, God is speaking to us and saying, come, let us reason together.
However, National Assembly Speaker Justin Muturi's coronation as Mount Kenya region spokesman has caught DP Ruto's eyes. Despite Ruto's recent hustler campaigns in his boss's Mount Kenya political backyard, promising him the region's support next year.
And also, our speaker got an appointment with the elders. And I think it serves him right. After being a speaker for so long, maybe it's time to be a spokesperson.
But whether or not President Kenyatta and Odinga will respond to Ruto's invitation is yet to face the test of time, the two having fell out 3 years ago after the handshake in 2018. Kenyatta and Ruto are however expected to weigh their political muscles in the upcoming Kiambaa constituency in Muguga ward by-elections, both UDA and Jubilee parties fronting candidates in the mini polls. Well, TV47 News Tonight takes a short commercial break, but we'll be back with more. Stay tuned.
You are watching TV47. Confused and uncertain career market after KCSE? Worry no more. TV47, the fastest growing youth targeted TV station across the 47 counties, brings you an entire month of career options and choice opportunities across all the leading universities and TVET institutions. We have put together a rich group of experts who will guide you through your career aspirations throughout the month of May. This will climax with a virtual career fair scheduled for the 28th of May at the University of Nairobi. All relevant stakeholders are invited to reserve a seat via david.katiku@tv47.co.ke or careersfair@tv47.co.ke on 071 999 883.
New Blue Band peanut butter. Made with 100% pure peanuts. And a good source of omega-6. Grow healthy and happy kids with new Blue Band peanut butter.
It's hitting the right notes. When life gets boring, we bring out our play. You see, playfulness is in our DNA. It's in the way we move and laugh. It's in the way we walk, the way we rock, and how we just don't stop. You feel me? We add color to everything, to every day and every dish, because the world needs our crazy. We're the different flavors that make life more exciting. We're the ones who add color to every moment. Fanta, color every moment.
Zaidi na ubrowse zaidi.
Wewe usijali. Tuma namba ya kila supplier kwa hiyo soko. Enda Joblin nitaongea na kila mmoja wao.
Very good. Piga *44
TV47, keep talking to us. 22047 is our SMS line. You can also find us on social media at TV47 Kenya on Facebook, as well as at TV47K on Twitter. The hashtag to use is TV47 News Tonight. Now moving on, 2 police officers who killed a businesswoman at City Park in Nairobi in 2018 have been jailed for 7 years each. Justice Stella Mutuku sent William Chirchir and Godfrey Kirui to jail for the murder of Janet Wayaki when she declined a non-custodial sentence, saying such a decision would not be proper since a life was lost. Here is TV47's Mwangi Maina with the details.
William Chirchir and Godfrey Kirui, 2 police constables who were convicted of manslaughter 2 weeks ago, will now spend 7 years of their life behind bars over the fatal shooting of businesswoman Janet Wayaki 3 years ago at City Park in the capital. Judge Stella Mutuku ruled that the 2 acted recklessly, leading to the loss of Wayaki's life.
It is my considered view that a sentence of 7 years is appropriate. Consequently, I hereby sentence William Chirchir, the first accused, and Godfrey Kirui, the second accused, to serve a sentence to serve a term of 7 years each. Orders shall issue accordingly. The accused persons are informed of their right of appeal to be exercised within 14 days from today's date.
Reacting after the ruling, Janet's family welcomed the decision of the court and thanked the judiciary for a fast conclusion of the case. However, the family said justice was not served as they would have wished, since after 7 years, the 2 will be released, while they have been agonizing over the loss of their daughter 3 years on, never to see her again.
Hatukuridhika enough sababu iko evidence ilipotea wakati hiyo gari ilikuwa nashukuliwa. Kwa hivyo ndio maana hata wameambiwa ati hawa ni manslaughter instead of killing. We know Janet was killed and we will never see him again, but the policemen are alive and they will be seeing their family, but we will never see the family, my daughter again.
They have gone through so much trauma. It was hard enough for them to come and attend this case and also to follow through, but we got justice in the long run. Despite the police interference in this case, the judge noted in her judgment that she noted there was a lot of police interference with evidence, but despite that, we were still able to get justice, albeit not what the family had expected, but it's still a good day for justice.
Janet Wayaki's family lamented that it is unfortunate that the real evidence in this matter was interfered with by police officers during investigations, as noted by the judge, hence a less severe sentence to the 2 officers. Judge Stella Mutuku said that the force used by the officers was not proportional. There was no offense that had been committed, and there was no threat from the deceased and the other occupant of the motor vehicle, who happened to be Wayaki's nephew. The 2 officers were operating on an alarm of terrorism in the City Park area after the vehicle was deemed abandoned for a while. Janet and her nephew were shot at while fleeing the scene. Mwangi Maina, TV47, Nairobi.
Of Ivy Wangeshi, a student who was brutally murdered in Eldoret in 2019, has decried of delay in the case regarding their daughter's murder. Ivy, who was a student pursuing medicine at the Moi University, was allegedly murdered by her lover Naftali Kinothia outside the Moi Teaching and Referral Hospital in Eldoret. The case has been delayed for 3 years now, and the family, through their lawyer, says the case has been postponed for 5 times now. The family is now calling on the Chief Justice Martha to intervene.
Madam, the courts have been very helpful to us. They have been accommodative. The only challenge, and I say this without fear or favor, the only challenge we have in what may have led to this delay is the defense side. This is the 5th time. The matter was supposed to come up for hearing today as the 5th time, the 5th attempt to begin the hearing, unfortunately, the Defense Counsel decided to withdraw from representing the accused person.
And my major question is this: for how long is this agony going to continue? How many mothers are going to be stressed? How many are going to be frustrated? And I'm warning you, if it goes on like this, then these mothers may not cease. Because if they realize there is no justice, then anybody can as well kill. But I'm just making one request. Let somebody tell me, when the defense cannot appear 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times, where is the poor Kenyan supposed to seek help?
Well, justice delayed is justice denied, and we do hope that Ivy Wangeshi will get the justice she deserves. Now, moving on, the Kenya Conference of Catholic Bishops says the attack on judges following the ruling on the BBI as unconstitutional is unacceptable and an affront to independence of the judiciary. The clergy is calling for sobriety in all engagements over the decision of the court to avoid polarizing the country at such a difficult time when the nation is dealing with the global pandemic that is COVID-19. The bishops propose that any far-reaching constitutional amendments should be addressed after the 2022 general election. On the restructuring of IEBC, they say the process should be expedited.
We are also concerned that the delayed appointment of the 41 judges cleared by the Judicial Service Commission is also creating undue tension between the judiciary and the executive. It has also referred severely affected delivery of justice and ended the backlog and to the end the backlog on solved cases due to the heavy workload placed on the hands of the few judges serving the Court of Appeal. We therefore appeal that an amicable solution is reached between the parties concerned to address any areas of contention to avoid crippling the operations of this important court and the entire judiciary.
Now, the Registrar of Political Parties and Ritu has called for the strengthening of the Political Parties Act to enable her office to deal with errant members of political parties who keep on party hopping without following due process. And as Daniel Masiza now reports, the number of political parties has reached 73, while 33 others are still in the process of registration, with more applications still coming in. Take a look.
Speaking to TV47, the Registrar of Political Parties and Ritu said there is a lacuna in the law that hinders her office from taking action against political leaders and party members who contravene the law.
In the Act, it is clear that that a person who is participating in activities of another political party and without, of course, the express consent of the party that they represent and that has recruited them, then that person is committing an offense which the party should actually deem that person have resigned. So the deeming actually is coming from the party.
She called on political parties to be more vigilant regarding the ongoing rush for registration of party members, an exercise that is currently being conducted by various political parties.
So sometimes you may find a Kenyan, either by design or by default or by being mischievous, who registers in one political party using an ID and in another political party using a passport. When we get you, then it becomes a serious issue with the party that, especially the second party that registered you, because the first we take the membership of a person to be the first registration before you resign, because there's freedom of association, which you can move from one party to another as many times as you may want as a Kenyan. But then we expect that if you have not resigned then and you have used a passport in another party, then we deal with the party that registered you so that it reach you who is registered. And it's actually a crime to register in two political parties at the same time. Yeah.
The Registrar of Political Parties also revealed that her office is in the process of developing an integrated information management system that will enable Kenyans to easily resign or join political parties of their choice.
Say that we want to continue making the services more simpler. We are continuing to look for ways of allowing Kenyans either to join political parties through eCitizen or resign through eCitizen. They have provisional registration, they are processing their document. We have already advertised about 18 of them to the public to give comments in the last 1 or so months, saying these are people who are intending to register political parties.
This comes as political parties across the political arena battle out for the registration of new members. They include United Democratic Alliance, People's Empowerment Party, Amani National Congress, Wiper Democratic Movement, KANU and Ford Kenya, among others. Daniel Masiza, TV47.
Well, Daniel Masiza's report takes us to a short commercial break, but we'll be back with more. Remember, you can follow this live broadcast on www.tv47.co.ke. Do stay with us.
You are confused and uncertain career market after KCSE? Worry no more. TV47, the fastest growing youth targeted TV station across the 47 counties, brings you an entire month of career options and choice opportunities across all the leading universities and TVET institutions. We have put together a rich group of experts who will guide you through your career aspirations throughout the month of May. This will climax with a virtual career fair scheduled for the 28th of May at the University of Nairobi Auditorium. All relevant stakeholders are invited to reserve a seat via david.katiku@tv47.co.ke or careersfair@tv47.co.ke on 0791 999 883.
New Blue Band peanut butter. Made with 100% pure peanuts. And a good source of omega-6. Grow healthy and happy kids with new Blue Band peanut butter.
Hey, now that's hitting the right notes. When life gets boring, we bring out our play. You see, playfulness is in our DNA. It's in the way we move and laugh. It's in the way we walk, the way we rock, and how we just don't stop. You feel me? We add color to everything, to every day and every dish, because the world needs our crazy. We're the different flavors that make life more exciting. We're the ones who add color to every moment. Fanta, color every moment.
Paulo MC says on Facebook says Paul from Kitale Chepkoyo, niko ndani kama kawaida nikiwa na mke wangu Linda Chepkirui. Thank you so much Paulo. Vincent Ooko says he's also tuned in, as well as Elvis Wanyonyi. Be sure to keep on texting us on 22047 on our SMS line, as well as RTV47 Kenya on Facebook as well as RTV47 Kenya on Twitter. The hashtag to use is TV47 News Tonight. Now moving on, ousted Wajir Governor Mohamed Abdi was today attending the full meeting of the Council of Governors. The county bosses defended him, faulting the recent cabinet reshuffle that was done by the newly sworn-in Governor Ali Mukhtar. Joash Onsare with the details.
The Council of Governors, through its chair Martin Wambora, while addressing the media in Nairobi, insisted that the impeached Wajir Governor Abdi Mohamed is still the governor of the county. Abdi, who was impeached by the Senate and the County Assembly of Wajir, was in attendance during the council meeting.
The Council of Governors notes the orders by the Honorable High Court in Meru that reaffirmed the position of Wajir County Governor, HE Ambassador Mohamed Mahmoud, who is with me here, his case to be affirmed by the Court of Appeal.
The county bosses recently faulted governor's impeachment, accusing senators of discrimination. COG now want the Court of Appeal to determine the matter in justifying the impeachment of Abdi. The impeached governor has already appealed his impeachment.
The Court of Appeal and possibly the Supreme Court will provide clarity on the threshold of impeachment of a governor.
On Wednesday, the newly sworn-in Wajir Governor Ahmed Ali Mukhtar made a cabinet reshuffle under tight security at the county headquarters. However, the Council of Governors termed the changes as null and void since there is an existing court order.
It is very, very clear on the irregularities which were done of gazetting the resumption of office by the Deputy Governor of Wajir.
Mukhtar has the backing of all the 6 members of parliament from the county.
We appeal to him to come on board as a citizen of the county and help us, if anything, to deliver to the people of Wajir.
The High Court in Meru said that I should stay in office. That office is not vacant, and there are no 2 centers of power.
Chief Justice Martha Koome is expected to constitute a 3-judge bench to determine the matter.
Pass. You're done. Thank you. Absolutely.
Joash Onsare, TV47.
Well, thank you, Joash, for that report. Now, the High Court has declared 128 appointments in various parastatals unconstitutional. A 3-judge bench ruled that the appointments were not transparent, competitive, and fair.
The High Court has declared 128 appointments in various parastatals by President Uhuru Kenyatta since 2018 unconstitutional. A 3-judge bench comprising Justices Jesse Lesit, Chacha Mwita, and Lucy Njuguna ruled that the appointments by President Kenyatta and Cabinet Secretaries ought to have been competitive, transparent, and fair, terming them invalid.
Try with the constitutional provisions of Article 232 and Article 10 of the Constitution with regard to appointments. Read with Section 10 of the Public Service Values and Principles Act, the petitioner's argument is simple. It is that the appointments were not open, transparent, or based on merit. They also fault the appointments for not taking into account the requirements of accountability.
Among those affected by the ruling include some of the 2017 poll losers and government officials. They include former Chief of Defense Julius Karangi, former Teachers Union NAT Chairman Muzo Nzili, former Governors Benjamin Chaboi, late Internal Security Minister's wife George Saitoti Margaret Wanjiru Saitoti, former President Mwai Kibaki's daughter Judith Wanjiku, Washington Makodingo, Agustino Neto, ODM boss Raila Odinga's aide Karoli Amondi, and William Timama. Others include Mombasa businessman Suleiman Shabal, politicians Nicholas Gumbo and Jamle Kamau, as well as Baringo Senator Gideon Moi's wife, Zara Balewa Moi.
The provision has to be read and construed with alterations, adaptations, verifications, and exceptions necessary to to bring it into conformity with the Constitution.
The case had been filed by Katiba Institute and AFRICOG, arguing that the law was not followed. Paul Kirobi, TV47, Nairobi.
Now, the proposal by the Teacher Service Commission to scrap off the Bachelor of Education degree program from universities has been faulted by a section of education stakeholders. The Kenya Union of Post-Primary Education Teachers, KUPPET, is already threatening to move to court to stop the implementation of the proposal. Andrin Kilemi now reports.
Thousands of learners in universities may face disruption in their studies if the Teachers Service Commission proposal to scrap off a degree program in education from universities will sail through. The proposal has, however, faced opposition from, among other, the Kenya Union of Post-Primary Education Teachers. KUPPET Chairman Omboko Milemba says the proposal is punitive and will derail teachers who have already trained.
The training of a teacher is not about pedagogy alone. It's about the methodology of teaching.
Okay.
And in fact, in the universities, and that's why I want the universities involved also, we dwell on methodology more than pedagogy. Pedagogy is nonsense. Pedagogy is easy because you can read and acquire.
Yeah.
But the teaching methods is what is necessary.
The University Academic Staff Union further says the framework by TSC is not acceptable and will only water down the education system.
First year students, second year students, third year students, fourth year students doing education. What happens to them? Total confusion.
Yeah.
Yeah, and even now putting our education system into chaos.
This is a proposal that we are going to refuse. And if the worst comes to the worst, we shall be in court to stop it. Because we know it's illegal. It has not gone through the regulation in Parliament.
The proposal by TSC, as seen by TV47, proposes that students pursue a bachelor degree in arts and sciences for 3 years, followed by a 1-year postgraduate diploma to qualify for teaching. The Commission further recommends a postgraduate diploma in teacher education that will cater for teachers' education learning areas. That there shall be a minimum of 1 school term practicum at all levels of teacher education, assessed by external examiners. That the in-service teachers and qualified registered teachers outside employment be inducted and certified to offer the competency-based curriculum. University lecturers addressing the proposals contained in the framework of entry requirements say any changes to a degree program have to be based on scientific research.
Huu mtaala mpya wa CBC ambao bado unaendelezwa mpaka hivi sasa, ambao unatarajiwa kuendelezwa, kwa maoni yangu ni kwamba bado unastahili kufanyiwa utafiti zaidi. Itakuwa ni swala la haraka sana kujaribu kuidhinisha na kufanya mambo haraka, ambapo tunaelewa kwamba vyuo vikuu vina mitaala yake iliyoidhinishwa na Seneti, na tume ya kuajiri walimu nayo ina maswala tofauti kabisa na sera tofauti ambazo inazingatia. Sasa itakuwa vipi kwamba iamuliwe mara moja na tume ya kuajiri walimu kile ambacho kitafanyika katika vyuo vikuu?
This even as TSC maintains that the changes are based on the ongoing CBC reforms. Andrin Kilemi, TV47.
Well done, Andren Kilemi, and thank you for that report. Now, Nyali Member of Parliament Mohammed Ali has called on the county government of Mombasa to stop frustrating his efforts to implement public projects. The Friday Primary School grounds is in the middle of a tussle between county government and the Nyali MP over refurbishment. Our reporter Mariam Wacharo with the details.
This is the playing field for Freya Primary School in Nyali, Mombasa County. Dusty ground with no sign of artificial or natural grass. But the grounds, it seems, are bare because two political bulls have been fighting over them. Well, not literally, but if the claims of Nyali Member of Parliament Ali are anything to go by, then the pupils of this school will have to wait longer to experience a better field. Speaking when he visited the grounds Thursday, Muhammad Ali said Nyali NGCDF has allocated 7 million shillings for the refurbishment of Freer Primary School grounds. But these youth would not allow the CDF contractors to undertake any works on the grounds. The Member of Parliament says they have been planted here by the county government.
It's break time. The kids cannot come out and play. 2,500 students cannot come out and play. Because few goons have been kept here to prevent the kids from going to the playing field. It is not in their budget. So if Governor Joe wants to frustrate the development of Nyali, tunamwambia pole sana. This ground belongs to the kids.
Muhammad Father says that the county government of Mombasa has not budgeted for Freer Primary School grounds in their 2020-2021 budget. He says the standoff is mere political sabotage.
This is financial year 2020-2021. The fields that are going to be renovated are Kisauni, Likoni, Jomvu and Changamwe. There is no Nyali here. Hii yangu ni kunizuia kufanya maendeleo. Because wanasema wacha tumkate miguu. But haunikati mimi mguu, unakata watoto wadogo.
According to the vice chairman of the school's board of governors, the 2,500 pupils at the school are in greater danger. He says the open field has become a drug addict's den and leftovers like syringes are now a health hazard.
Mazingira ya shule sasa kama mnavyoona si mazuri. Watu wanatumia madawa wanakaa hapa, watoto wetu wanakaa hapa, kuna mambo ya madawa, kuna mambo ya zile syringe. Hasa mtoto akidungwa na syringe hapa na labda mtu akona HIV itakuwaje? Kwa hivyo sisi kama board tunaongea kwa kauli moja na tunasema kiwanja hichi tunataka kijengwe na kijengwe ili watoto wetu wawe safe.
Hapa kama kiwanda cha madawa, watu wacheza pale shitano maybe mdunge. Yaani kuna mambo mengi ambayo yana shida katika watoto wetu. Kusema kweli waruhusu ajenge watu kiwanja. Maana maendeleo ya kila mtu.
As the parties continue fighting over the rights for construction, the innocent children can only crowd in the small space available during their co-curriculum activities, the COVID-19 pandemic notwithstanding. Mariam Mwacharo, TV47, Mombasa County.
Well, thank you, Mwacharo, for that report. And leaders from across the political divide attended Deputy President William Ruto's daughter June Ruto's wedding at his current home today. The ceremony was an invites-only event as she got married to a Nigerian tycoon. The Deputy President and his wife Rachel led the firstborn daughter June down the aisle to exchange vows with her partner. Among those who attended the wedding include ANC leader Musalia Mudavadi, among other leaders. Now, snails have been for long, unlike other delicacies, missed the test of time as a food in many parts of Africa, something that science has since demystified the dynamics and superstitions that holds in it at the JKUAT University. Our reporter Willie Dennis Njiru has the details. For that report, we'll be getting back to that story in just a moment. And now, snails have been for long, unlike other delicacies, missed the test of time as a food in many parts of Africa. And we do apologize for that mix-up as well. Family Bank Group has posted a 728.8 million shillings profit in the first quarter of this year, a 71.3% increase compared to the 425 million shillings posted in a similar period last year. The commercial bank's net income has risen by 27.2% to 1.8 billion shillings, an increment supported by 15.9% loan book expansion. This marks an 8.4 billion shillings growth in lending, up from last year's 53 billion shillings. Customer deposits rather have risen by 18.3% quarter on quarter to to close at 72.5 billion shillings, and the bank's total assets have grown by 14.9% to 94.8 billion shillings. Their non-funded income has dropped from 714.9 million shillings to 711.2 million shillings due to the waiver of mobile banking charges, while operation expenses increased by 4.6% to 1.8 billion shillings. Now, still on matters business, Kenya is set to receive a 80.6 billion shilling loan from the World Bank. Central Bank of Kenya Governor Patrick Njoroge says the country will also receive 44.1 billion shillings of the 254 billion shillings loan from the International Monetary Fund (IMF). Petronila Goren reports.
According to the Central Bank Governor Patrick Njoroge, the country will receive an 80 billion loan from the World Bank and an additional 410 million from the International Monetary Fund (IMF). CBK says the country is seeking to extend an extension on debt repayment from external lenders.
Our staff in Central Bank and indeed the National Treasury have been quite diligent in terms of running the domestic borrowing program. And that, I think, has been, as I said last time, has been a major victory for both institutions and indeed for the country, because there has been a stable sort of development there in terms of lengthening of the maturity of the government borrowing, average time to maturity. There's also been a sort of clarity about the amount of borrowing and in a predictable fashion.
Meanwhile, Treasury Cabinet Secretary Ukur Yatani has met stakeholders in various sectors of the economy to discuss equalization of funds and regulations that steer project implementation management. Yatani says there should be a proper guideline on visibility studies, budgeting and monitoring of projects before their implementation to avoid surpassing the projected costs.
We were able to come to an understanding of an hybrid system that all of us are going to have a stake in as far as planning and budgeting and identification of the various projects, because the equalization fund places responsibility on implementation on both the national government and the county government. The reason why we came up with the project implementation management is to give an overview and a comprehensive roadmap from project conceptualization to the actual project completion, to manage cost, to make sure that it adheres to the objective of government, to put also responsibility in the hands of the accounting officers to expeditiously implement projects so that we avoid issues of stalled projects.
Yatani further stated that the government was in the process of acquiring new technology equipment to enhance the functionality of the newly launched Lamu Port, as well as introduce a livestock disease-free zone to enable Lamu County become a depot for livestock and processed meat, among other critical areas of business and transshipments. Petronila Goren for TV47.
Well, it's time to take a quick look at what is happening in the world of sports, and our sportsman Dennis Otieno is on standby on the other side of the studio. Good evening, Dennis. It has been quite a sad day for Manchester